My next guest is a former model turned digital designer, entrepreneur, and speaker. Please welcome Nikki Gal. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with Nikki Gal. Hey, girl.
Hey, Anna, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to chat.
Me too. I'm excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So feel free to take us on this journey with you and share with us like who you are, what you do, what you're up to in this world, and why are you so passionate about what you do?
Well, thank you again for so much for having me on. My name is Nikki Gal. I am a 24-year-old former fashion model turned entrepreneur. I am the owner of two companies. I have my art company, my digital art company, See Through Nikki. And I also have my lingerie line coming out called Gal Intimates, which is launching in October. And I am also the founder of Raw Talk with Nikki Gal, which is my nonprofit organization, which is led by mental health advocacy. So, yeah, I have a few projects going on. I'm pretty passionate about them all. They all mean something different to me, and I love it. I love every minute of my life. I love every minute of my job, and I'm just really, really excited for future projects and also capitalizing on the ones that I already have going on. So, yeah, I'm living life. I'm doing well, and I'm just overall really, really happy.
Yeah, I love that. We can feel that energy too, which is
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you so much.
So I'm really curious, like, what made you pivot from modeling to being a designer and entrepreneur? Like, how did you make the shift? Why did you pivot?
That's such a good question. So I started modeling roughly about 15 years old. So I was very, very young. So that was roughly about 10 years ago. And during my career, I figured out, a lot of things about myself. But the one big thing that I did figure out the most was that I became very uninspired. And I say this a
Mm,
lot. Uninspired is a very, very scary word. And when you hit that word and when you reach that point, again, it's very frightening. It's frightening for your well-being. It's frightening for your mental health. So I basically dug up my roots and I replanted myself. And that was difficult to do. It's easier said than done.
mm,
But in that moment, I felt like that was something that was necessary for both me, my mental health, my wellness, my everything to do with myself, my physical health as
mhm,
well. So I really got out of that industry, not only to really protect myself, but really to move on because I was also very limited in that industry. And I just
mm,
felt like there wasn't much opportunity for growth and not much shift for growth. So I really had to embody that on my own terms, which
mhm.
was, again, very difficult to do. But it was so worth it in the end because I have so many other priorities, passions, and projects that I'm working on today that I wouldn't have if I didn't leave and if I
Mm,
didn't quit. So it's more so sacrificing one passion for another because I was very
mm.
passionate in the modeling world, but you can't have it both ways. And you have to really prioritize what you really, really want in your life. And I
Mhm.
just wanted happiness, I wanted freedom, and I wanted truth. So that's ultimately, the three things that I've really, captured and embodied, along my life after I quit modeling. And I think
Mm,
it's important for everybody to just do the same thing. If you're not happy in a profession or you feel like you can do more with your life and you're limiting yourself, get out
mhm.
of it. Do what makes you happy. You only live once. So it's extremely important to, do what makes you feel good and live in the moment and just vibe your own light.
I love this so much. And so, like, how do you actually find what makes you happy or what sparks this joyful happiness? Where do you begin to even find, what those passions are?
My family has really motivated me, both internally
Mm,
and externally. Family is the biggest thing for me. If it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be here. So it's extremely important for me to reflect back off of them, but also reflect on myself through them. I
mm,
feel like as individuals, we are all, very dependent on ourselves. We're very independent, and I pride myself on being an individual. But I also feel like it's important to, talk to your family too. If you need guidance and you need help, talk to your family, talk to your friends. And I think my parents ultimately pushed me, and my family as well, ultimately pushed me into, really putting myself in a category of, you can do more with your life. Never limit yourself. You are limited, limitless. You can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it.
mm.
And so I kind of practiced that mentality throughout, that journey of, leaving and starting something else for my life. And my family was my number one support system, and they still are. But even back
Mm,
then, it's really important to, rely on yourself, but it's okay to rely on others as well, because, support is everything. Support is really all we have in this world other than ourselves.
mm,
Obviously, we do have ourselves at the end of the day, but, with the
mhm.
help, family, friend support, it can really, push you in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. I love that because I always say, like you gotta find your tribe, you gotta find your community. Like not everyone is this lucky to have a family that supports them. So however
Right.
you can do it, find it for yourself,
Friends. Yeah.
yeah.
Your tribe. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious to know, why is mental health so important to you? Like, what do you wish more people understood?
The stigmas are a lot. I've, seen
Mm-hmm.
them my whole life. I've been around those words or those thoughts or those ideas or those preconceived notions that, again, many people do have. And, it's unfortunate, but it's human nature to want to
Mm-hmm.
put labels on things and categorize things. I think
Mm,
as individuals, we need to learn that everyone has their own story, everyone has their own light, and everyone has their own energy. I think mental health is solely based around that as well. Mental health is really energy. If you
mm,
understand it, that's awesome. But you can never understand it to one specific point. It's one of those things that is just, it keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. And you can't just reach a point where, I'm done learning about it. You always have to be open minded with it.
yeah.
I think, again, we're as individuals, we're very judgmental. That's human nature. That's part of our DNA. We can be very judgmental at times. And I think, as far as mental health, I think it's not so much about judgment, but it's about doing. It's about helping. It's about growing. And again, in correlation to what I just said, it's about support. Many
Mm,
of my friends growing up dealt with mental health disorders. And I saw that a lot growing up. And they shared stories to me that were, again, very unfortunate. And it made me say to myself, why is this happening? Why does this keep happening? I just couldn't understand it. So that's that point where I took upon myself and said, what, I'm going to advocate for this. I'm going to have a voice, and I'm going to give other women a voice. And that was really the growth of and the birth of my platform, Raw Talk. I feel like Raw Talk was created to give women that voice that they need, and that voice
mm,
that they just desperately are trying to use. I think, again, as humans, within mental health, we're very nervous to speak up about mental health. I feel like mental health is one of those taboo topics, and we don't really know how to navigate it. We don't
mm,
really know what to say. But I think at the end of the day, it's extremely important to, put everything else aside and say, if I'm not feeling okay, I can speak up about it. I do have a voice, and I'm not afraid to use it, because when you
mm.
use your voice, you don't feel so alone. And that's ultimately, the reason why I wanted to do this as far as mental health goes and the advocacy, because we're not alone. And even myself, I felt pretty alone at times. We all do, but we
Yeah,
shouldn't have to. So that's ultimately what I want to, really create. And I really want to, put a focus on.
I love it. Honestly, I have chills right now.
Ah. Aw.
I mean, so what I'm gathering is you basically address it through creativity, right? You
I
like through
do.
your
Yeah.
through your work, through your art. So talk to us more about that. Like where do you get your inspiration from, and like what's your creative process?
Such a good question. I love that question. So creatively, I've been creative since the start, since I was like in diapers. It's just been my thing. I think everybody has their own passion, but it really gets to that point where you say to yourself, well, am I going to utilize this passion? Am I going to, create more with it? So for me personally, I feel like my creative intuition, my creative feelings and thoughts, I think a lot of them derive from my childhood, but I also think a lot of them derive from my heart. And I know that might sound corny, but it's true. I think, you have to have creativity or anything, but for myself, it's creativity. You have to have it with a passion. If you don't have a passion in it, then don't do it. For me,
Mm,
my art has opened so many doors for me, both, in my personal life, in my public life, but it's also made me become a better human. My art really is my tool for speaking up as well. This past couple months, I released a series that actually embodies, women of mental health disorders. And all these pieces, I released 5 pieces within a series, and they all encapture different women of all different races, different, genders, really expressing themselves in a mental health light, whether it's within
mm,
depression, bipolar, dissociative disorders, anxiety, very common disorders that we all deal with. And so
yeah.
that was a huge, huge, huge turning point for me and my, just myself as a human, because I'm not only advocating through my voice, but I'm advocating through my art. And I feel like a lot
Mm,
of times, sure, you can say something, right? But I think from a visionary aspect, it speaks so much more,
yeah.
because you're feeling it, you're visualizing it. So that was a huge, huge, huge point in my life, and that was this year. But I think too, creatively, that inspire creativity inspires me every day to never stop. You can never stop, no matter what. You're gonna have
Yeah.
days where you're like, oh, I don't like today. What am I doing? But you have to take a few steps back and say, you know what? That's okay. I'm still the same person. I can grow a little bit more. Maybe I need to change a little bit, but I'm fine and I'm going to be fine. And that's ultimately the message that I want people to feel within my art.
Yes, I love that. We're all gonna be okay.
All going to be okay. It's all going to be good. I
Yes.
promise you.
So, talk to us more about your newest project, right? Your Gal Intimates. I know it's releasing soon.
It
Like,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. That too, yeah, that was a project that again, I'm very passionate about. It's launching actually in October, so roughly a month from now. That too was a project that I've always wanted to do since I was like 15. Ever since I began my modeling career, it's always been my dream and sole passion of mine to create something of my own. It's
Yeah.
tiring always being the mannequin. I'll tell you that. It is exhausting. You don't want to be the mannequin anymore. And that's kind of something that I kind of wanted to challenge within myself. I wanted to say to myself, I don't want to be the mannequin anymore. I want to be the designer, and I want to produce pieces that make women feel comfortable with themselves. I feel
Mm,
like body dysmorphia and, really just body image is, again, a huge topic that also is in correlation to mental health nowadays.
mhm.
I just want women to feel free. And a lot of
Yeah.
people, will say, oh, well, that's just another lingerie line, la, la, la. And I'm sure, yes, you're right. People are right. Yes, it is another lingerie line. But I don't want it to be solely just that label of, oh, it's just another lingerie line. I want it to be something that is from me and a production and creation of myself. I
Mm,
think it's important for women, as individuals, to really step our games up and say, what, it doesn't matter if something else is out there. It doesn't matter if another brand is out there or if something else is out there that's like mine. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to put my foot in the door, and I'm still going to, get my message out there. So for me, as far as, other companies and lingerie brands and things like that, it's not so much about comparing. It's about doing what you want. It's not so much
mm.
about saying, oh, that brand's so much better than mine, or they're so much more successful. It's not about that. You really got to get in your own zone. And that was, again, the main priority and the main message that I wanted to really capture with this brand. I didn't want to just be another brand. I wanted it to really just say, you have the power as women. If you want to start a lingerie line, start a lingerie line. Do it. Do it. Have fun with it. And it's something that you created, so it's also about that, celebration of a woman, and also
Mm,
celebration of an entrepreneur, her HER. We
yes.
really have to, yeah, I mean, really have to be strong here, and do what we want, set our goals, no matter how big or small.
Yes, I love this so much. And actually, this is why I started my business too. I'm like, I can do
Yeah.
this too. I want to impact people,
Yeah,
I want to
impact.
change
Yeah,
life. Yeah.
absolutely. That's what it's about. That's the human experience. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it so much. You're so incredible. And I'm really curious to know your answer to this next question because I ask this to everyone who comes on the show. For you, what does it mean to be a powerful leader?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say never defining yourself. There's going to be people in your life, and I can speak off personal experience, that are going to want to define you. They're going to want to limit you. They're going to want to tear you down. They're going to want to, minuscule your mindset and, really take control of your life. You cannot let that happen. If you have a dream, chase it. If you want to do this or do that or whatever you have in your mind at that moment, go for it. Do not let anybody limit you. Do not let anybody tell you different, and do what makes you happy and do what you think is right for yourself, whether it's, starting a brand or, doing whatever you want. I think the female mind is really limitless. But again, I think due to labels and, definitions, we become so limited. And again, that's something that I've practiced within my life. You cannot be limited. There's so many opportunities out there. Take control. You only have one life. Don't waste it away thinking about something that someone said the other day. Don't waste it away on, let's just say, a breakup that, you're having a really hard time getting over. It's not about that at the end of the day. It's about really just putting your best foot forward and going after your dreams and searching for that energy and really that movement that you deserve.
Amen, sister.
Thank you.
It's so true. And I guess like most of those limitation actually comes from ourselves, like our mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
crazy.
Oh yeah, we are our worst enemies at times, but we have to fight that. It's a constant battle.
Yeah.
But we have to learn to fight that because it's going to help us in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I love this so much. I mean, you're incredible.
Thank you so much. You are too.
So, do you have, any last piece of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Never stop. Never stop. Never stop dreaming. Never stop doing. Never stop going. Again, this also is, kind of what I was just saying, but, never stop. And, if someone tells you, oh, you'll never be able to do that, and they laugh in your face, don't say anything back and do it anyways, because you will do it and you will be successful if you truly put your mind to it.
Yes, absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. Awesome. So where can people go to connect with you further online?
So my personal account is Property of NG on Instagram. And then my Instagram for my art company is See Through Nikki, THRUNIKKI. And then you can reach me at rawtalk.com, rawtalkwithnikkigal.com, which is my podcast website. And you can also listen to my podcast on my platform on Spotify as well as Apple. So yeah, that is about it for me. And again, thank you so much, Anna, for this opportunity. You are, again, so incredible. I adore you. I adore this platform. I think you're such an innovative woman. And again, you're one of those women that you never know what their next move is. So I look up to that very much. I find that very inspiring.
Aw, thank you so much for saying that. You're making my day.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Amazing. So we'll make sure to link all your links in the show notes. So go check it out. Go check Nikki out. She's amazing. And yeah, thank you so much again for being here today. We'll definitely stay in touch.
Stay in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.